A call for demonstration. Rouhani is a murderer. He doesn't belong in the UN. The Organization of Iranian American Communities calls on all freedom-loving Iranians and supporters of a democratic, non-nuclear Iran based on separation of church and state to take part in a massive rally protesting Rouhani's visit to New York. We call on all freedom-loving Iranians opposing executions, arrests, and crackdown of women and youth in our country to participate in the New York rally. Time, Monday, September 28th, 10:30 a.m. Place, Dag Hammarskjöld Plaza, 47th Street, between 1st and 2nd Street, outside the UN.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our online conference by the Organization of Iranian American Communities, or OAC. As some of you might know, OAC works to promote human rights and democratic freedoms in Iran. It's a striving for a secular government founded on principles of respect for human rights, religious tolerance, and gender equality. Its goal is to organize Iranian American communities in the US to promote and to push for these values. And as such, it is one of the sponsors of a massive rally in New York on September 28th, which coincides with the visit of Hassan Rouhani, the Mullah's president, to the UN General Assembly. On that day, Iranian Americans from all over the US will converge in New York, and they will be joined by scores and multitudes of Americans who support human rights in Iran and support the establishment of a democratic, secular Iran. In addition, scores of political dignitaries have committed to come and address the rally as well. Now, while the issue of Iran has been taking center stage on the world news in the last few months, particularly regarding the issue of the nuclear crisis and the nuclear deal, one other issue which, regarding Iran, which has been very much glossed over, is the dreadful human rights situation in that country. So in this conference, we try to focus on this and what should be done and what's the right approach and what can be done regarding the human rights situation in Iran. And in that discussion, we have 4 young Iranian Americans and Iranian Canadians, actually, to that effect, activists, to share with us their views and their insights about this issue. Mariam Mirzai joins us from Atlanta, Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. Irfan Moradi comes from Bay Area, Northern California. Correct, Irfan?
Correct.
Ladan joins us from Southern California, San Diego, to be exact. And Harry Garmotti joins us from Quebec, Canada. So let me welcome all of you, and let's hope that we have a lively discussion. So I'll start with Mariam, if I may.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mariam Mirzai. I'm 21 years old. I'm currently enrolled in the business program at my university. I've been a supporter of this organization for as long as I can remember. But just as a short introduction about myself, I've been to numerous rallies and conferences on issues regarding Iran and the nuclear deal and program. I also feel very strongly towards the issues and executions that go on in Iran, because although I wasn't born in Iran, I have always felt a strong connection to my country and to the youth in my country.
Now, Ladan, do you want to tell us a little about yourself and what you do, and just a succinct introduction.
بله سلام من لادن هستم. I'm a student. I'm a student here in San Diego, California, and I have been a supporter of Mujahideen since since I was like 2, and yes.
And Irfan, on your side?
I want to echo what the other youth have said so far. I'm a first-year student studying at UC Berkeley, but like all of the other youths that have said so far, I've been a supporter of the PMOI since, I was born. My family has a history with the PMOI, and because of that, I've been involved with it as well, and have been involved in the human rights crisis in Iran for many, many years as a youth activist.
And Paria, on your end?
Hello, my name is Paria. I'm 15 years old. I'm born in Canada. I'm in high school. I'm bilingual. ولی فارسی من ضعیفه. 100% fully though. And I come from a family that has been touched by the crimes committed by Iranian regimes. So.
It seems that we have lost the picture of Laden for the time being, but I hope they can bring her back. You basically took the first question out of me already, but Irfan, let me ask with you. You said you have known this move, the Iranian resistance, the PMI or MEK, for a long time.
Yeah.
How did you get to know more about them? I mean, did you go to, and let me ask you this, very frankly, what aspect of this resistance is more appealing to you? What basically was more touching to you so far as you are concerned?
Well, I'll try to be brief, but my father was a political prisoner who in 1980, I believe, was arrested for being involved in the PMOI. So that, already got my family involved in it. Since we moved to the United States, we've become active in the expatriate community here, the Iranian American community here. And for the past, I believe, 6 years, we've gone to the rally in Paris, the huge rally in support of human rights in Iran. And what really attracts me to the organization is that it feels like the next wave of progressive movements in Iran. We've had like Mirza Kuchak Khan, we've had Mossadegh, and the PMOI is really the next wave of bringing humanitarian change to Iran. It plays such a crucial piece in Iranian history, I feel. And it's important for youth to be a part of that next wave of bringing revolutionary change.
Mariam, how about you? I mean, I know you come, as you said, very eloquently in the beginning, but what basically hits a chord?
Well, obviously growing up, I attended several rallies with my family, but after I was about, I think, 12 or 13 years old, I started to come to DC and France separate from them earlier and to help out with the organization to get kind of my own outlook on the organization itself and what are the real strong points that they hold. And honestly, it was like being embraced by a family of welcoming and amazing individuals that have so much insight and so much to give Iran. And I truly believe, like, through my own interactions with them outside of my family, introducing me to the organization, I learned what a powerful group of people that they are and how much they will help Iran in the future. And
Paria, you're a little bit younger, but what is more appealing to you? I mean, as a Canadian, not a Canadian, Iranian Canadian to that effect, but what has been most catching to you?
I think what really is attracting to me is that the fact that we have a woman leader, which is Mariam Rajavi. So it really shows the equality between men and women in the resistance. And actually, yeah, and I find it very attractive that women get to be so equal with men.
Let me change the course of discussion a bit. I start with you, Irfan.
Yeah.
How do you think, or you see the Iran under Rouhani? I mean, particularly when it comes to the issue of human rights, have you noticed any changes or whatever? I assume you follow Iran news every day.
Yeah,
So,
so despite being, proclaimed as some sort of reformist, some sort of humanitarian, Rouhani, I feel, is really a continuation of the traditional politics under the mullahs, under Khomeini and Khamenei. He is the same thing that has existed for the past 30, 40 years, and that is complete and blatant abuse of human rights. More executions have happened under Rouhani, or the rate of executions has increased under Rouhani rather than decrease, which goes to show that there is very little reform occurring in Iran, in Iranian human rights, in Iranian justice system, in the Iranian political body.
Mariam, do you agree with that, or do you see?
I completely agree with that. To go off what Irfan said, in my opinion, any president that comes out of, support from the mullahs, they're going to be just a puppet of the mullahs, and they're going to do the exact same thing that every president before them has done. And there's really no reform when you have support from Khomeini and Khamenei.
Harriet, do you have anything to add on your end, or you think they hit the nail on the head?
Yeah, they totally did. Just about the 2,000 executions that they have done in the last 2 years since he's been there is just crazy, and I find it just horrible.
So, Harriet, I start with you. So, how do you reckon with the idea that some people claim Rouhani is at least tries to reform? Do you think this is any bearing to reality, or just is simply propaganda?
No, he is just totally a dictator.
Sorry again?
He is a dictator.
He's a dictator. So, in that respect, Mariam, what do you think? Have you seen any changes regarding women's situation under Rouhani, by the way, Mariam? Or
I would say that, if anything, the women's situations have gotten worse, because I read an article a while back where a woman was executed purely because she had I'm sorry, purely because she had defended herself against rape, and that just shows that, if anything, the women's situation has gotten worse, because we shouldn't be supporting people that rape women or the oppression of women in our country.
you are talking about the dramatic case of Rayhana Jabbari, I think.
Yes.
The 26-year-old woman the interior designer,
Yes.
who was so savagely and ruthlessly executed while defending herself. I think this is the case.
Exactly.
Irfan, on your end, have you seen or noticed any changes so far as it pertains to censorship, internet, or that sort of things under Rouhani, or that's also fits in the category of executions? I mean, same old.
I mean, if anything, media and speaking out has been silenced even more than before. I was recently looking into a poet whose name I can't remember, but his non-political, non-controversial works have been banned just because of his sexuality. Like, there is no notion of freedom of expression under the mullah's regime. And last I had heard, the government is even taking efforts to completely censor outside internet and create their own national intranet to block any news regarding human rights, any news regarding mobilization of people, any outside information into Iran.
I was told that Ladan is with us, but only by voice. Ladan, can you hear us?
Yes, yes, I'm here.
Oh, very good. I'm glad you're back. Ladan, what do you think about the human rights situation in Iran under Rouhani?
Well, I know that things have not gotten better, and even still women are being oppressed, and with the connection for them to connect to us, I've heard that just simple things by internet connection, like they're not allowed to connect just by talking through Viber or any. It's been really put a hold on to.
Now, Ladan, you as in, we lost you for a while, and I asked the question from the other participants. What has been the most appealing aspect of the Iranian resistance so far as you are concerned? I mean, as someone who has followed this for years, and what hits a chord, so to speak?
I love that we're the Mujahideen are such hardworking people to free their people. Honestly, it's very admiring to see that we have gone on hunger strikes. People in Camp Liberty. It's crazy that we have such people that are putting their lives out for their people inside Iran, and it's also sad to see that when people are so for the regime that we are doing this for them, for their freedom.
So you're saying, basically, if I hear you right, that you're saying their perseverance and
Yes,
steadfastness is what's appealing to you.
Yes, yes.
Let me ask a different question. Well, how about the religion issue in Iran? I mean, the fact that a lot of Christians are in jail or suppressed. What do you think? Shouldn't there be much more talk about this in the U.S. so far as you're concerned, Irfan?
Yeah, and considering the large Christian population in the United States and in North America, it seems absurd that other Christians in this country aren't speaking about the atrocities that are happening in Iran to Christians, to Baha'is, to Jews, to all of these religious minorities. In further, to continue further on that note, even the Mujahideen has had, to my understanding, Christian martyrs and people who have died for the movement who were Christian, or people who have died in the revolutionary movement who were Christian. To see their religious brothers and sisters not talking about it seems very absurd to me.
Now, anyone wants to add on anything on this? I mean, Mariam, Peria, Laden, anyone would like to add to this, or you all agree?
I definitely agree with what Irfan's saying, but at the end of the day, the regime will take any precautions it has to oppress its people and have them believe in what they want them to believe in, no matter if it's through the internet or through religion.
So let's go to a different topic. I have seen and have noticed more and more young people lately in the last few years take part in the big rallies of the resistance, Paris, elsewhere, Washington. Why is it so? What has changed? I mean, is the observation correct to begin with, or if so, what is the reason? What explains for that? Anyone who wants to take it?
Yeah, I think just from my personal experiences, I've seen hundreds and hundreds upon thousands of young people pouring out at our rallies, at our conventions, and it's really because the Mujahideen and the other the progressive movement speaks out to young people who want to see a change, who have seen their people their age be persecuted for little to no reason. They want to see justice brought for them, and they want to see a future for themselves in Iran. You know, like if they can't live in they're going to live in persecution in Iran. I mean, there's no point to it. So they want to bring some sort of change and justice.
Anyone else wants to jump in?
I honestly think that I would love to see people in Iran my age being as free as I am here in Canada, and having to not think what they want to think, but say what they want and believe what they want. By gathering on September 28th on the New York rally.
But
Yeah,
my question was basically, I mean, I think you addressed the question, but what explains for the young people to be more active lately? I mean, do you think they see hope for change, or they're understanding the movement more? What explains for that? I mean, Mariam, do you want to take on that?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can answer this question. I think just as a generation, the millennials, to be exact, just as a generation, we are a lot more hands-on and involved in social and global issues than, let's say, previous generations were. But it also has to do with a lot of the oppression that's happening is happening to the youth, and we can kind of relate to that. And obviously, if the youth in Iran can't have a voice and can't reach out to the rest of the world, we want to be able to do our part and reach out to them.
And Laden, your observation on this?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it's more that we can not relate, but that we're the same age. And if I were to personally put myself in their situation, I would be hoping that there's someone outside of Iran, trying to get my freedom, and they're not allowed to do any type of propaganda or protest or anything. So I think it's sad that they're not allowed to protest, but that our generation is involved with it because we want freedom for them.
So let's. I think Perry raised the issue of September 28th rally. As I said in the beginning, this is the day that Rouhani comes to New York to address the General Assembly, and a big rally is planned. Why is it so important to take part?
It's incredibly important to take part because we have a humanitarian role to speak out. We need to show ourselves in the streets and say that the Iranian government is not welcome. It's not. We're not going to, stay silent when so many people are being persecuted in Iran, and by showing that in front of both American political bodies and Iranian bodies speaks a lot.
I mean, Mariam, do you agree with that? I mean, that it's important to be out there on that day?
Yes, I definitely agree. We need to show that the Iranian youth in America and just the Iranians in general don't support our president. And that's a great day to show it because it's going to have so much coverage, and because he's going to be here, it's going to mean so much more.
And Pariel, you raised the issue of September 28 yourself. So please, tell a bit about, why do you think it's important to be out there, particularly for young people?
Yeah, well, I think it's good because I want to raise out the voice of the voiceless and help them. Well, because of course, 2,000 executions in the last 2 years is just unacceptable. So. by Rouhani.
And hopefully, by having so many people show up outside of the UN, hopefully Rouhani himself will hear that he is not wanted.
Uh, Ladan, do you agree with this?
Yes, I think it's very important for us young people to be out there because we are the large group. So yeah, because it's unacceptable for the executions, the oppressions for the woman. So it's also very important for the woman to be out there. And he's going to be there, so he will see that, and hopefully we will have some change.
Now, let me ask you this. Isn't this a bit different? Someone all that goes, it takes a lot of motivation for someone to go all the way from California to New York to protest. Isn't this the case, Irfan?
Yeah, but I mean, we have to have a lot of motivation and perseverance in this fight because, of course, the Iranian regime isn't going to let down easily. They're not going to just, stay silent and back off. No, we have to continue to fight. We have to always show our presence all around the world. And this means traveling from California to New York to Paris to all of these places to make our voice heard. We can't stay silent, just sit down and act like it's nothing. We have to stand up.
Mariam, do you expect a large crowd on that day? Given your back, you said you have been going to a lot of these trips yourself on your own since you were a teenager. I mean,
I definitely expect a sizable amount of people to show up. I know that personally my mom is trying to get a bus together to come from Atlanta up to New York.
that's a long drive.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be a long drive, but definitely people that are dedicated to the movement and to, the freedom of Iranian people will definitely make the sacrifice.
And Ladan, a lot of times I've seen these rallies, you're joined by a lot of Americans. What does tick them to take the effort?
I think when Americans join, they're inspired by the movement because they're when we at the rallies when we show the executions, they're moved by it. They want to help, although it's not even their country. Just seeing that, just seeing the hangings and the oppression of the woman, it's very sad. So I believe they want to be involved and try to help. So it's very important that a lot of people get involved, and when everybody tries to come out, that's very important. Without hard work, you can't expect to get anywhere. So I think it's great that a lot of us are like Mariam, trying to even get a bus to go to the rally because it's very important to go.
Now, let me ask this. It's right after the nuclear deal. There's a lot of talk about Iran. Don't you think this gives this rally a more prominence in terms of attention than before? What's your take on this, Irfan? Do you think will it be like normal times, or there will be more focus, or you hope there will be more attention?
No, I certainly hope and believe that more attention will be brought. I mean, because of the nuclear deal, the crimes of the Iranian regime can no longer remain, hidden. It's being brought to the forefront, and part of that is because of the nuclear deal, because the American government is dealing with the Iranian government. The people are speaking out and saying, "Hey, what you're doing isn't right. This government is a criminal government." And more people are becoming aware of the crimes that the Iranian regime has committed, and they feel more motivated than ever before to show up.
Mariam, do you agree? I mean, do you think the momentum helps, that there will be more focus and more attention on this than previous occasions? Do you think?
I definitely agree because the media coverage that's going with the nuclear deal puts so much more attention on Iran than any other year before. Previously, it was just like a convention, and he was visiting the UN like he does every other year. But this year, it's so much more important because of the nuclear deal and because of everyone's negative feelings towards it.
In what sense?
In the sense that we shouldn't be striking any deal with the Iranian government. There should be no conversation at all.
So, Paria, do you also expect that there will be more attention this year to? No, you raised the issue of rally, so.
Yes, of course, of course. I was actually the other day I was on Instagram and I saw so many social campaigns about the no nukes in Iran, and I just found it was amazing from all over the world. So I think it's going to be a lot of more people this year than all the other years.
Irfan, do you want to say something?
I just no, I'll pass.
Oh, you pass. Okay. And Ladan, do you want to interject here?
No, I definitely think that it's going to be more extreme this year because, you know, of the just like the nuclear deal. There should be absolutely no reason that we should be supporting nuclear weapons or nuclear bombs or anything in Iran. So it's very important that we be there and we say no to it.
So basically, if I hear you right, you're saying that you feel the moment is ripe.
Yes.
That the moment is coming. Put the spotlight on the human rights situation in Iran.
Right,
So
to put a
the whole
stop
thing
on it, yeah.
Did I hear you correctly, or?
That's right. Yes, yes.
So in that sense, Payo again raised a very good point about digital world, the social campaign. What value do you put on that stock in terms of getting the word out? Do you think there should be more emphasis on this, and are you planning to be more active on that in the days and weeks to come regarding the rally?
I think that on internet, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everything, people these days are always on that, so it brings out more attention to it. So with more campaigns, social campaigns, it just brings out the voice that we want to bring.
I think when you show the reality of what is going on, it really opens everyone's eyes. People who don't even know what is going on in Iran they don't see it. So I think it's important to post things on social media to expose them to what is happening. Just like the pictures that we show at the rallies, I think that's what makes the Americans want to be involved because of what they see is it's absolutely wrong, and they don't have rights in Iran. So it's very important to show that through social media.
Ladan, which platform do you use more yourself?
I use Instagram, so I think it's important because I think Instagram and Twitter are very popular these days. So for you to keep posting about the Mujahideen or the rights that you want to see there and the freedom that you're trying to express for your people, I think you should be posting a lot.
And what's really cool about these things like Instagram and Twitter is that you're reaching so many other young people. Like, of course, these platforms are populated by millions of young people. So having other youth hear us is very impactful.
And you guys all are on the social, sphere. Mariam and Ladan and Irfan and obviously Peria mentioned it, so I assume that's the case. What are you planning to do before September 28 to build up the momentum? Are there going to be social campaigns? Are there going to be articles written? Tell me. What are the works?
Yeah, I think, like you said, social media campaigns, of course, are a big part of it. I know my good friend Hamid has written a very strong article about the nuclear deal. I know my father is writing articles about the nuclear deal, and all of this is part of a very large process of mobilizing and making everyone hear our voice very loud and clear.
So it's basically building up towards September 28th.
Of course.
And Mariam was also talking about a conventional way of doing things and people moving by bus.
Yeah. Again, just like Irfan and Padia and Lodan said, the social media campaigns and just social media in general, it connects people all across the world more than it has ever before. So it's definitely the way to reach out to people, especially Twitter, because that is one of the easiest way to kind of link people together through hashtags and this sort. So you can always, have enough hashtags to the point where, your hashtag is trending, and then people will be able to see it on the left side of their Twitter pages.
And what's the hashtag for the event?
I don't think we've specifically created one yet, not that I'm sure of anyway.
But I think one of them will be no to Rouhani, I assume.
Oh, yeah, well, we've had
Definitely.
that one. We've had that one, yes, sure.
So, in that sense, do you think you want to send a strong message on September 28th that Rouhani is basically cut from the same cloth as the rest of the mullahs, and the change in Iran should come from somewhere else? That's basically the message, and you want to accentuate on the human rights situation. That's the message that you will be focusing on September 28th. Ladan, that's the message that's going to be focused on?
Yes, absolutely. For those that don't think Rouhani is like the rest of them, he definitely is. There are still executions going on. Everything is still continued, and so it's very important that we all meet there at the rally, because he is no different than any other dictator, I would say. And the executions are still going on. They still don't have any rights, and so it's very important to be there on that day. He's going to be there. He will see it, and yeah.
And he's going to be there, so you're going to be there.
Exactly.
So if you allow me, we take a pause to see that 1 minute thing about the rally, and then we come back.
Okay.
A call for demonstration. Rouhani is a murderer. He doesn't belong in the UN. The Organization of Iranian American Communities calls on all freedom-loving Iranians and supporters of a democratic, non-nuclear Iran based on separation of church and state to take part in a massive rally protesting Rouhani's visit to New York. We call on all freedom-loving Iranians opposing executions, arrests, and crackdown of women and youth in our country to participate in the New York rally. Time, Monday, September 28th, 10:30 a.m. Place, Dag Hammarskjöld Plaza, 47th Street, between 1st and 2nd Street, outside the UN.
Okay, so let's take a different topic. Just last week marked the 50th anniversary of the inception of the MEK. Mariam, what does that tell you? What was your? I know you had an event of your own in Atlanta. What was your feeling on that day?
Well, it's obviously a great feeling to know that we've been strong for 50 years on now. But my specific feelings towards it was obviously to continue till we get to 75 years, 100 years. It's even that more important to keep this organization strong and going. After reaching such a big part of our timeline.
And Irfan, for you?
Yeah, I think it just goes to show how entrenched the PMY's roots are in the Iranian revolutionary history. I mean, 50 years is a long time for any organization to be alive, and to continue to have popular support among so many different people. Shows the universality of our organization, just goes to show how many, how strong we are.
And Paria, did you have a celebration in Canada also for
Yes. My mom and I worked so hard on it. We did it. We were so proud of it. Also, I thought that the 50 years shows so much, and I agree with what Erfan and Mariam said. The future is ours, really.
And Laden, was there a celebration on your part of the country also?
I believe they did have a celebration here in San Diego. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend, but it's very it's very inspiring to see that all the hard work and dedication we put to get the freedom for Iranians. We're hardworking, and hopefully the day will come where we are there free and
Uh, if I ask you in 1 minute, Irfan, uh, to send a message to the Iranian Americans, young or Iranians who might see us on internet, what would be your message to them now and message for September 28th? What would you tell them?
I think first and foremost, it's to say no to the Iranian regime, to say no to the mullahs, and to say no to the American government cooperating with them and legitimizing their atrocities. And second, I think we have to say yes to the PMI, say yes to the progressive movement, and say yes to regime change in Iran. And third of all, last of all, to show up in New York, to show up in Paris, to show up in our own cities and make our voices heard to our communities, both local and abroad.
Mariam, as I said, if you had 1 minute on national TV and you want to talk to the young, Iranian Americans and the Iranians at home, what would you tell them? For the rally, for the prospect, and so on and so forth. The floor is yours.
Well, I would first like to say that to the Iranian youth, us in America and us all around the world will continue to be your voice when you can't, speak up, and we will continue to fight our fight together. And most of all, we all know how important it is to stand up against the Iranian regime, which makes this specific event such an important date for our organization because of the nuclear deal and because of the amount of pressure that it'll put on the Iranian regime socially.
And Paria, what would you say if you had 1 minute?
I think I would say to ask and appeal more youths to come on September 28th to rally and say no to the nuclear program that is going on and no to Rouhani.
And Laden from San Diego, what would your message be?
I would say that we are coming from all walks of life, but we're all fighting for one thing, and that is for freedom in Iran. To not have this regime continue anymore, and yeah, so it's very important to come to the rally because we're all just fighting for one thing, and that's freedom.
And to try to raise again a different issue. Irfan, how do you see the future?
Well, I'm well. I should mention that I study history, so I look
study
at
history. You do.
yes,
You're in UC Berkeley.
yes,
Okay.
and what I see is a bright future for Iran. I know that just looking at history, we are a very strong people. We have continued to fight for change for the past over 100 years. And we will continue to fight. I see nothing but change coming in the future, nothing but people mobilizing, people falling into the streets, people overthrowing this horrible government and replacing it with something democratic, with something secular, with something that speaks to the people and serves the people.
This sounds very Lincolnian.
Thank you.
And Mariam, how do you see in the future?
Definitely agree with everything that Irfan said, but just to kind of go off of that, we hope for a bright future for Iran and for humanity in general, and that I feel like maybe we've bottomed out and we can only go up from here.
And Paria, what is your take about future? If I say, look, how do you see the future? Do you think it's going to be gloom, or do you think it's going to be bright? And what does it take to make it bright?
It's going to be bright. And I think we'll see free Iran with Mariam and Masoud Rajabi, and just with all the happy people, everyone happy, free.
And Ladan, what is your take on the future?
Well, coming on the 50th anniversary of Mujahideen, I think all that hard work that we have put into it, I definitely see a bright future for us because of the hard work that we do.
And the last word, no rally, no to Rouhani, bright future. How would you sum it up, Irfan, for this session?
I think, well, I hope to see thousands, if not thousands of people show up at New York. I hope to see this discussion being continued within Iranian American communities. I hope this discussion continues among the youth. I want to see as many young people as possible being involved in Iran's future. I don't want us to be disconnected, or like especially immigrant youth or like youth who have been born to immigrant parents. I don't want us to lose sight of what our real home is, and that's Iran, and that we still have power to change what's happening in Iran, and to hopefully one day go back home and be able to live there safely.
And Paria, how would you sum it up? If you were in my position, you wanted to sum it up.
Sum it up, free Iran, and participate in every activity that has to do with a free Iran.
And you mean in particular September 28th?
Yeah.
More immediate one.
Yeah.
And Mariam, how would you sum it up?
Just that, if there was any confusion or skepticism towards our organization or the event, that hopefully we cleared that up through this conversation, and that people realize how imperative it is to show their support and be at the September 28th event.
And Ladan, you get the last word.
Yes, it's very important to be there on the event. Like Mariam said, if there is a skepticism, hopefully we have cleared it up for you guys, and we just want freedom and no to nuclear deals or anything like that.
So one more time, this is going to be September 28th, which is a Monday, at 10:30 in the morning in New York, if I got the information correct. So thanks from all of you for being with us. It was a lively talk.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And as Irfan said, let's hope that we continue, and we'll exchange more in weeks and months to come. And once again, thanks for sharing your insights. Very, very insightful and very aspiring.
Thank you.
Every one of you. So at the end, thanks Irfan, Mariam, Paria, Ladan for being with us. Most appreciative. And let's look at that clip about the September 28th, and wish every single one of you the best of times and a very successful future. Thank you.
You as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A call for demonstration. Rouhani is a murderer. He doesn't belong in the UN. The Organization of Iranian American Communities calls on all freedom-loving Iranians and supporters of a democratic, non-nuclear Iran based on separation of church and state to take part in a massive rally protesting Rouhani's visit to New York. We call on all freedom-loving Iranians opposing executions, arrests, and crackdown of women and youth in our country to participate in the New York rally. Time, Monday, September 28th, 10:30 a.m. Place, Dag Hammarskjöld Plaza, 47th Street, between 1st and 2nd Street, outside the UN.